So, they say when in Kolkata, do as the Kolkatans do. So I'm going to try this with absolute humility. No more shy, which is hello from Sweden. Come on, Aceh. And Abdel Show Baike, South Africa Te. Welcome to South Africa. Thank you. My name is Lily Swankane. Please tell me if I'm speaking fast. I am the head for South African tourism. I am so excited to be back in Kolkata. This is a very important home for us. It's been a very, very interesting year for South Africa, for South African tourism. We've seen incredible growth from Indian travelers, and for that we say thank you. South Africa in 2022 received a 200% growth of arrivals from India. This is very good for us. This is an increase. This is very good. You probably, when we talk about arrivals, we don't talk about numbers for us. Okay? So India, but particularly Kolkata, is very important because your contribution to our economy is also increased and also has a very important impact. So India was number 8 in terms of a source market. Good news is we're number 6. Now, that's because of the people who are in this room. Important, the generous coverage that you give about South Africa, the positive stories, obviously some of the work that we do from a marketing perspective. So we've moved from number 8 to number 6, which is a huge milestone for us. I was sitting at a panel at SATE, and I was saying the most important thing, or the most humbling thing, is the support that India gives to South Africa. I said this it was a SATE panel to say, the reason or the things that bind us are beyond just the travel. We are 2 countries that are bound by love, passion, and respect for each other and our people. So, being number 6 for me is no surprise, because I think you're going to be moving very soon to the top 3 source markets. You are the powerhouse as a country, and your state is also going to eventually increase in terms of arrivals. I know the travel that comes from here is a combination of MICE, business, and leisure. So let's call it leisure and business. We call it leisure. And therefore, South Africa is very ready for Kolkata. We have the incentive offerings, we have the leisure product, we have the unique, diverse Indian cultural requirements at our fingertips. We understand what the Indian traveler is looking for. We know where they are going. We know what they want. We also know, as a country that has over 3,000 activities, of those 3,000 activities, and I'm talking about adventure activities, the biggest consumer of those activities are Indians. And of that, Kolkatans are the people that are really making a noise in our market. So 43% of our consumer is a leisure consumer, 41% is MICE, that 41%, out of that 41%, well, it's called business tourism, or MICE, of that is 18% is incentives. We're doing a lot of work with incentive houses. We're having a lot of time, spending a lot of time with corporates to make sure that we give them enough information, capacitate them about South Africa, so that they drive traffic to the Indian trade. In return, we receive that, the benefits of the travel. Of the 2023, our targets is 72% increase on the Indian arrivals, of which 33% for the MICE as well. This is big numbers. These numbers are just not numbers for us. If we have a 200% increase, it means there is a 200% economic increase. Ladies and gentlemen, just to keep it very simple, if I receive 50,000 arrivals from India, take that 50,000, multiply it by 8, right? Because every single tourist that comes into my country, 8 people or 8 jobs are created, 8 people are fed. Multiply that 8 by at least 4 people in a household. This means arrivals to us are not just the people that come into an airport and you stamp. It means you change the lives of those who live in South Africa. It means you add value to my citizens. It means India keeps the hope going, infuses conviction, brings dignity to South Africans, all because an Indian traveler decided to come to South Africa, but all because the people that sit around this room, you, my countrymen, because India is my home away from home, you are responsible, you are contributing to a greater economy to South Africa and the betterment of all South Africans. So one of the things that we are going to do this year and we are going to focus on, we have now gone beyond recovery. We're now sustaining and building. COVID came, hit our countries very hard. I think India and South Africa were one of the biggest countries that were hit by COVID. And in all that, when the world closed its doors on India, even on South Africa, we took a decision as South Africans, and we were the only country in the world that refused to close the doors for Indian travelers. When everybody went into a frenzy to say, we're not going to take Indian travelers, we're not going to allow them to come in, we made a decision not in our name, because what binds us is beyond travel. It is the economic ties, but it's also the people ties. India puts its citizens first, so does South Africa. But more important, the relationship that we have with you has started long before I was even born in some of us. When Mahatma Gandhi came to our country, he came to change the world. And he gave that baton to our leader called Nelson Mandela. And he vowed and said, never there shall be any racial or gender domination. And it's a principle that he is willing to die for. So when we talk India, to me, who lives in India, who lives in Mumbai, India is my home away from home. If I could dream, I would have a home here. I would have a home in every single state. But I take India as my home, and that's why it's important to understand. For us, we're going to sustain our relationships. We are going to build, we're going to increase the numbers of travelers coming out of Kolkata. We owe it to the Kolkatans. You see, ladies and gentlemen, travel is not just about South Africa receiving people. It is about Kolkatans and Indians going and feeding the economy of this country. Because the more people that travel into South Africa, the more jobs are created here. The higher the numbers are, the higher the demand, the higher the job creation becomes. So, where does that leave us? It means we need to increase our efforts. It means we need to increase our partnerships, and that is why we've come to Kolkata. It's an important state for us. We need to grow this market. We need to engage, enhance our relationship with the state. It means for us to make sure there is enough arrivals coming here and we prioritize the people of Kolkata, particularly the travel trade and the media. We need to talk to you more, and we invite you to talk to us more as well. Allow us to share the good stories of South Africa. South African tourism is in Kolkata with 36 diverse tour operators, DMCs, products that are new, state tourism boards are downstairs. And the reason we brought such a diverse is to show you that South Africa's got so much more. And because we're showing there's so much more, we are sitting at this moment between January 2023 to June 2023 with 59% forward bookings. That means we are up 59% just from Jan to February. How did we get here? Okay, we collaborated with Ethiopian Airlines. We right now have one of the cheapest flights prices to South Africa. Cheap flight to South Africa through Ethiopian Airlines is 42,000 rupees. Of that 42,000 rupees, deduct or take away or add 50, less 15%, which makes it 35,000 rupees. That's the cheapest ticket you'll get to South Africa. We call it's a meal, a movie, and breakfast away to South Africa. 42,000 rupees, 35,000 rupees to be exact, all inclusive of taxes. That's a cheap flight to South Africa. And the reason we made and partnered with them is to make sure that South Africa is accessible to the traveler, it is affordable, and that we know that we have to collaborate with airlines to make South Africa a preferred destination. And it is no better time, there is no better time for us than to collaborate with an airline that is also from Africa. They are the best African airline, and we owe it as Africans to collaborate with them. So we've done that. We've just come out of a very successful Saturday with the exhibitors downstairs of 35, 36 of them. It gave us very good numbers, gave us very good exposure. This is our third Saturday, and that we make sure that we engage with trade from Pan-India so that we give them a better offering of South Africa, right? So we have also got, I don't know if any of you have seen this, Natalie, I'm assuming we've got some OOH in Kolkata. We've done a huge campaign on outdoor. You'll see that we've launched a campaign. It's the second year, it's called More and More. I know you might ask, what is this more and more? 9 years ago, so if we asked anybody from India, when you think of South Africa, what do you think? A lot of people would say wildlife, right? They would say Table Mountain or Cape Town. So we realized there's so much more to South Africa than just two, or they would say Sun City. We've embarked on changing the perception that South Africa is just about two states or two provinces. And therefore we've shown the more and more in an aspect of showing the diversity of the offering that we have. But what we've also done this year, for the first time in India, we are using Indian faces in our promotions. We realize that this country called Bharat is about India for Indians with Indians. And therefore we took the inspiration to use young Indian millennials showcasing how they consume South Africa. So if you go downstairs, you will see, yes, they're South Africans because we are South Africans, but we also put faces of young Indians who came to South Africa. We filmed them through KwaZulu-Natal, we took them to Gauteng, we took them to Mpumalanga, Kruger National Park, and we filmed them doing amazing activities. So every time you see downstairs or any of the pictures, a more and more campaign, even on the video that we were showing here, the youngsters that are on that video are all Indian, coming from different parts of India, two young beautiful ladies, and that's the more that we are showcasing. And so you will see this campaign will run until the end of March, and for us this is incredible because if we don't show India through the eyes of an Indian, it's very difficult for any to believe. We have a saying in our language, "Igazi liyajiya kunamanzi," which means blood is thicker than water. It is far easier to sell South Africa through an Indian sometimes than to sell it to a South African. I'm not sure, Tushla, if I've missed anything, but for us, I just wanted to reiterate that Kolkata is important, India is important, your value, we will never underestimate, your contribution to our economy, to our people, to who we are, is it's unfathomable. And that is why I'm going to end off saying thank you in two languages, right? One is that of this state, which is Ranyabad, which is to say thank you. And in my language, I'm going to say it and translate it to you. My language, we would have said Enkosi, but to add on to Enkosi, it means we're going to say to you, as a South African, as a child of Africa, as a daughter born on the African soil in South Africa, Cape Town, we have a saying in our language, Umtu ngumtu ngabantu. Umtu ngumtu ngabantu, which means we are who we are because of others. In this instance, we are who we are because of you, because of India, because of the citizens of this country, because of the people. And for that, to the Kolkata media, we are humbled and danyavad. Thank you.